Well, I won't say dearly beloved, as you are not. And I won't thank you all for showing up, as we had no choice. Throughout my life, I've officiated many a wedding ceremony for many a crew member. I've never approved of one of them. I have nothing against. I find myself particularly critical of a couple's behavior on the matter. None have met my standards, nor yet standards far above my own. The Holy Book of Ephesians refers to this as a profound mystery. Now, I am a mere mortal. I won't blaspheme or try to teach you the secrets of a faithful marriage. But no matter how much I dislike Mars, and though this may not be the first wedding I've officiated, I find that it is definitely the first that I approve. The union of Security Officer Bronwyn, Nadine, Wallace, and First Officer Frankenstein Marslowski.
3rd of May, the date of Mars and Bronwyn's wedding. I have now learned that it is a myth that the captain has the legal authority to officiate a wedding ceremony. And as Mr. Cromwell is the only crew member who's an ordained minister, he has been allowed to participate and officiate the marriage. It's strange to think that it's been 3 weeks since the non-FICTA left port. It doesn't sound long, yet life on land seems like something out of a dream. Distant, unimportant, fake. Sometimes I find myself truly believing that I've always been on this boat, with this crew. 15 days ago, after Captain ACW rose when the extraordinary game of flags, I was afraid that we'd find trouble in adjusting to our new positions and mission. Mr. Cromwell has been given many security restrictions and is generally confined to the galley. The fraud has grown increasingly more capable of handling the bridge independently, but the most prominent alteration is that of Mars. It is strange to refer to him as executive officer instead of captain. It suits him far better. And like a puzzle, though unsure at first, everyone seems to now fit into his or her proper place. And as Mr. Cromwell said so himself, if any one of us is indisposed, the rest of us will be able to keep the non-FICTA running. This knowledge allows us to sleep soundly through the night. And during the day, well, nothing can stifle the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of adventure. I don't believe I've ever been this happy.
Bronwyn, are you happy?
My mother always told me that all you needed for a wedding was a white dress, some friends, and cake.
Well, thanks to Mr. Cromwell, we have something that he at least claimed.
I think he knows to put sugar in it. I think. What about you, Mars?
Not really.
Hmm.
To be honest, I'm preparing myself for a terrible future with you. A future full of turmoil, self-sacrifice, challenge, and compromise. You're quite possibly the most difficult person I've ever met.
So, why did you propose to me?
I asked myself that question leading up to our engagement, and almost hourly afterward. In the end, I concluded that we would be better as individuals and to the world if we were married than if we were not. It would have been a worse decision if I had not asked you to marry me. So, in other words, I am not happy. Satisfied, yes.
Well, that ain't the finest way of telling a girl I love you. But guess what? I completely agree with you. Everything.
Really? Because that would be a first.
On y va.
Well, the cake's ready. It's really awful.
Kingpin, you weren't supposed to let them know we had any yet. We were just testing it for a poison.
Yeah.
Blasted wedding ceremony. I spent hours in the galley trying to make this layered cake.
Sorry to barge in on the Marslowskis, but we thought you'd want a slice of whatever that is before it got even drier.
We ain't barging in on anyone. The non-FICTA needed to surface to recharge your batteries, and the hole's open to the public. We've been roaming without purpose for a week now, and it'd have been selfish of them to deny us a breath of new air just because they tied the knot.
Where are you going, Doc?
I should go back inside. I've hit a wall deciphering the message on the map, but I think I'm really close to a breakthrough.
Kurt, you have been brooding in that RR for the whole of this past week. You haven't joined us for any meals. I've been taking all your shifts on the bridge, and you've barely touched that journal of yours. Sit down, have a nice conversation for once, and enjoy the outdoors.
I guess it would be beneficial to take a break.
Exactly.
Well,
Careful.
Watch your step.
I guess living on a submarine hasn't quite helped develop my sea legs.
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I think the sun looks better from under the water. Oh, would you scrub the deck and raise the flag, unfurl those windward sails? For my Sheila's from the Scottish Isles, she's tough and hard as nails. She's a ginger and a handful, if sex she'll cast you away. So we scrub the deck and raise the flag, I'm to marry her today.
Look,
Yeah.
an albatross.
That's good luck.
Isn't she beautiful?
You should draw her, Dr. Silvester.
I don't see an albatross.
South-southwest, Cromwell.
Where?
There. Literally the only thing there is to look at.
Well, I'll be hanged if there isn't a giant burning ball of fire blocking my view.
Okay, please don't fight, fellas. It's my wedding day.
Wow, it's more than just a pocket watch. Am I really this much of a burden?
You're that much of an importance, Captain. Your father really cared about you.
He thought of everything, and Mars was even willing to take on all the responsibility.
Well, Mars cares about you too. So does Bronwyn and Cozy and the fraud.
And you.
And me.
Dr. Silvester, can I ask you a question?
Of course, Captain.
Nobody told me anything, and I know you live with your grandparents. I could tell from your stories. Are you an orphan too?
No, I'm not an orphan, but as a kid, I had a lot of problems, medical problems. I was an invalid, so I was sick pretty much all the time, and my parents were social people, professionally. I guess they just didn't want me on their plate.
They didn't care about you,
I like to think they cared enough just to send me away.
but not enough to change.
I guess not.
Well, you wanted to change. That's why you wanted to be a bird watcher and study nature. That's why you wanted to come. That's why you financed this voyage. You wanted to come along.
I thought a submarine would be a good place to explore nature in a contained space.
So it was a bribe?
Maybe. Yes.
You know, we wouldn't be here without you, right?
I don't know about that, but maybe I can prove my worth by actually figuring out this map.
You say the map keeps referring to the light of the ocean? Perhaps this could be better translated the gold of the ocean or the ocean's light.
Like I said, my translations can't be perfect. There are hundreds of words, adjectives, and sentences that only exist in a certain language. I could never be sure of finding the exact translation. For example, in French, there are just about a dozen ways to express the phrase I love you, but only one in English.
Unless you've got a good imagination.
The light of the ocean. Do you think that's where the map leads to or instructions to follow?
Either way, perhaps we should have stayed on the surface.
Or maybe we should be on the lookout for shallower waters.
Do you think the map's coordinates will take us to an island?
I'm imagining so. That's usually the case. Could be a lost ship or a sunken treasure. Something once thrown overboard.
You know, maybe it's not a treasure map.
Not a treasure.
Look at these circles encompassing the writing. At first I thought they might be part of the language, and I couldn't even rule out the possibility of them just being some sort of fancy embellishment, but now that I look at it, I think it's some sort of clock.
Wait, a clock?
Yes, the drawings are positions of the sun as it circumferences the Earth.
That think you're right, Dr. Silvester. It is a clock. That's incredible.
I'd almost forgotten about the sun until Tom mentioned it and we were sitting on the hole, and it got me thinking. That must be what this is.
Take a look. If that's not a smudge, it's been marked in the early afternoon between 1400 and 1500 hours.
This could be a huge breakthrough, but it doesn't make sense. Why would a map need a schedule on it?
I was wondering the same thing. That's what makes me think it might not be a map.
But it still could be. Maybe this specific time is part of a luck or a curse cast on the treasure. Lots of legends require a certain moon or tide to find the entrance to a secret cove or a clue.
It's possible.
Well, according to Tom's calculations, we should reach the heart of these coordinates by noon tomorrow. But for now, I think we should call it night and get some rest.
That's a good idea. It's been a long night.
Actually, Tom has taken the last 3 night shifts. I'd like him to get some rest before tomorrow. I'd say you know the deck well enough to keep us running for a couple of hours. What do you think?
I'll do my best, Captain.
I'll inform him of our discovery and schedule update.
This is so exciting. I don't think you'll be able to sleep. I feel like Christmas Eve.
Try not to get your hopes up too high. We still don't know what the map leads to. It could be disappointing.
He's right. You gotta get used to being led to dead ends. Never-ending circle of clues, or sometimes just nothing.
Then, how do you know when to give it up?
You never give it up. You have to make a choice. Spend the time looking for something that might not exist, or spend the rest of your life wondering what would have happened if you never stopped looking. Either way, you never give it up.
Does it haunt you?
Lots of things haunt me.
Well, at least a guilty conscience means you have a conscience.
If you say so, Captain. Good night, everybody.
Night, Cromwell.
Good night.
Captain, forgiveness is a powerful thing. I'm saying this not for his sake, but for yours. It might lift a great weight off your shoulders if you forgave him.
His ship sank the Jubilee, and he walks around carefree, not sorry. Is it even possible to forgive him when he hasn't apologized?
I wouldn't peg him as carefree, Captain.
He doesn't deserve forgiveness.
None of us do. It's grace, and we should be generous with it.
Share it, like adventurers.
Adventures? Do you think my father would have forgiven him?
I think he would have tried if he thought it would do any good. Asa, I'm sure Cromwell's sorry. I just don't think he's ever met someone willing to offer forgiveness before. You might have to show him what kind of man you are.
Well, if you say so, Bronwyn. Good night.
Good night. Hey, you know what? To tell you the truth, I feel a bit like Christmas Eve myself. So, what do you say? We go down to the galley and scrounge up some tea.
Oh, yes, I know where Cromwell keeps the Bengal spice, though I have yet to find the milk and honey. I think he sleeps with them under his pillow.
Would you like some, Doc?
That'd be nice. I'll be on the deck.
Okay.
Never heard that one before. What song is that? Hey, Fraud, can you hear me? Holy Telerium. What happened here? Fraud? Fraud? Tom!
I said get off me. We're not going back.
Tom, what on earth? What's going on?
Nothing.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Just trust me. I'm fine.
What happened?
Nothing. I didn't mean to. He was trying to. It's so loud.
What is?
The song.
Song?
Yes, can't you hear her?
Nobody's singing.
What? You can't hear it? Let me get us closer.
Tom, you know we aren't allowed to change course without the captain's permission. Besides, it'd be a waste of time. We're so close to finding the coordinates on the map. Did Mars not tell you that we found a schedule on the map? Did you just change course?
Just now, no.
Listen, Fraud, I know I'm no expert, but I've spent a lot of time up here with you in that manual. We're going the wrong way. Look.
I know.
Did you change course?
We're supposed to go this way.
No, we're not. What makes you say that?
I'm following her song.
Her song? Who is she?
I don't know. But she knows us. She knows our names, and she knows the ocean. She says we're in trouble, and we have to follow her someplace where it's safe.
And where would that be?
Where it's dark. I've been following her song. I can't believe you can't hear her. It's so loud.
Listen, Tom, you haven't slept for days.
I'm not crazy.
The captain sent me up here to relieve you.
No, if you can't hear her song, then we can't follow her. And we need to follow her. Don't you understand? I've been stuffed up here for weeks, lost, uncertain. But now I don't have to be. She can lead us out of here, and she won't stop singing until we're safe. Kurt, please leave me alone. I'm not crazy. I'm not.
I'm not saying you are, Tom, but you have to understand. We can't follow her without the captain's permission. We have to talk to him first. Do you want me to?
If you try to tell him, I'll stop you too. Don't. No! Ah!
What happened to Mars?
I think Tom hit him in the head.
Oh, he's fine.
Well, it's not like he's having the best wedding night. Aren't you the security officer, Bronwyn?
Yeah, the kind that steals the ship's supply of milk and honey from under the galley man's nose.
Look, I didn't hire a security officer with the notion that Tom would knock Mars unconscious. Dr. Silvester, what is going on?
Something's wrong with the fraud. He's convinced he can hear someone singing, and he's had us following her. I can't say for how long, but he won't let anyone turn us back around.
Is he sick?
He's exhausted, he's paranoid, but he's not running a fever, and we've always known his hearing is exemplary.
Finally cracked, has he?
Psychological damage is not uncommon among submariners, I know, but I don't think this is the case.
I don't hear anything, Tom. What do you hear?
Just a song, Kingpin. The most beautiful song I've ever heard. She says we're in trouble, and we have to follow her someplace where it's safe, where it's dark. I can't believe you can't hear her. She's so loud.
I'll bet you I know what's wrong with him.
Suru fall suru nai, felen twelai elai. Sorry to kuro selenkyu soro shimpai tekai do salvo.
Thought so. There's a siren out there.
Siren?
Lovely creatures that lead sailors to perilous waters through song. Ugh, that's heavy stuff. Traditionally, they take the form of birds, but I've heard hundreds of different stories.
Yeah, from mythology class. Listen, Cozy, I've been all over the four corners of the globe, and I've never found any evidence of truth to those stories.
Well, I'm sure they've been embellished through time, but something had to have happened to inspire the first story. It had to come from somewhere, didn't it?
That's actually pretty sensible coming from you, Cozy.
You know, perhaps mythical is just an old-fashioned word for misunderstood science. Think about it. There are several known land and sea creatures that use sound or disguise to lure in their prey. Take the anglerfish, for example, which uses its esca to resemble a prey animal, which then lures the prey close enough to devour it whole. Maybe a siren is designed similarly to be a sailor's predator, but since we're in a submarine, she'd have to be heard through the passive sonar.
Okay, let's pretend for a minute that there is a siren out there. Why isn't Cozy under song influence?
Well, not that my speculation is of any merit, and many of us have had extensive careers at sea. None of us are the true sea romantic like Tom Stokes. Imagine the fraud was an easy target for a siren, and she must have been whispering in his ears for weeks now.
That's a pretty accurate guess, Mr. Cromwell, especially considering how far we've gone off course.
Tom said she wanted to lead us where it's dark. What could be darker than the ocean, where we already are?
Got a few ideas, but I don't want to frighten you with them.
Darkness could be relative to her. She lives in the ocean after all. I'm sure her eyesight is very different than ours is.
Oh, wait. Captain, the only way things get darker around here is if we go deeper. What if she's not leading us away horizontally? What if she's taking us down?
Down? Down? She could collapse our hull. Go to her current depth level, see if we've taken any damage so far. Bronwyn, do the math. See how fast you're going and figure out how long we have to get out of this mess.
No, we can't.
Though I imagine the fraud's going to get more violent the farther we get from where the siren wants us to be. Could be hours or even days before we escape her territory. Man, it could be longer before the effects of her song wear off.
I'd rather the effects are sooner than later. Any suggestions, Doctor?
I'd like to once more clarify that I'm not a doctor on all subjects, but I was thinking, perhaps we can scare her off.
Scare her?
Well, this is just assuming she is similar to other sea creatures. Sound seems to be her primary resource, and Tom mentioned that she was very loud. Come to think of it, he seemed pretty rattled when I blew Mars's whistle. So I'm thinking maybe we can show our dominance by being louder than her, like a bear or a mountain lion, and then maybe she'll leave us alone.
That's a lot of maybes.
But in theory, it sounds like a good idea to me.
So you're saying, if we all roar about and you blow Mars' whistle and I clang some pots and pans, we might be able to slip out of this pickle with our honor intact?
Most of it.
Well, worth a shot. I can be loud.
I'll get some ammunition.
I'm worried.
Okay, on the count of 3.
From bow to stern, I've been searching the sea. From port side to starboard, I'm scoping. From east to west and from Rome to
Stop!
from
Stop!
north to
Stop!
Ah.
You're ruining my favorite song! And you've still got the lyrics wrong. What's wrong with you guys? Gosh, now it's gonna be stuck in my head. I'm sorry.
Hey, there are worse songs. Besides, it's growing on me.
I see we leave the gentlemen alone for, 2 seconds, and they start crashing about like an orchestra of wildebeest.
Fraud, sit down and get us out of here. We're already at 30 bars, and that's way past the non-FICTA's design depth.
Permission to use the active sonar to get my bearings, Kingpin?
Granted, and the ping may even keep the siren away.
Don't wreck my boat.
Haven't yet, have I?
Well, Tom, how's it feel to be lost and uncertain again?
Amazing.
Captain, our estimated maximum crush depth is some 280 meters, and I'm being optimistic here.
We're at 300 meters. Realistically, our hull should have already collapsed.
But none of the ballasts or engines show any sign of pressure failure, and they're still holding up peachy keen. I don't want to jump the gun, but now that we're heading back up, I think we're going to be okay. Just as long as Tom handles her nice and easy. We don't want to shake her up any more than we already have.
Well, you heard him, Tom. As soon as the coast is clear, get us out of here. And this might even make a good bedtime story. But that's assuming we'll feel like sleeping anymore.
Now wait just a moment. From what I understand, we barely escaped through the fingers of death. Anyone else eager to theorize on the matter?
Maybe the tape held us together.
Or maybe the leaks in those ghost parts gave the engines a little bit of extra breathing room, which prevented its combustion.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of theory someone who knows nothing about engines would come up with. I think the non-FICTA might just like us is all.
Oh, come on.
No, I have a theory, Mars. We may not be the best 7 submariners, but we are 7 submariners who give their best. I often told my father that any crew, no matter the background, could be excellent, as long as each individual is willing to give his finest. And, well, I think they've done just that. I trust them with my life. Well done, everyone. Whoops. Did I just give a speech?
You sure did, Kingpin.
I always assumed all of your quotes came from Warren. How many of them do you think are actually aces?
Hard to say. Warren quoted Asa quite often, perhaps 100% of them.
Oh.
Captain. Executive officer. Speaking of assaulting you with the driver's manual, I'm sorry. I guess I just can't seem to get on your good side.
Actually, believe it is I who should apologize to you. I've done nothing but berate and criticize you since the day you stepped aboard this ship. I'm sorry. It was wrong of me. I shouldn't have doubted you. Besides, navigation speaking, not a thing had gone awry till we nearly lost you. Once again, I'm sorry. And I can't expect that manual to teach you everything.
Such as how to knock an executive officer unconscious.
Precisely, Mr. Stokes.
Don't spill on the bridge.
Actually, I think I'm gonna take this to the bunks. Kurt's got everything under control up here anyways, don't you, buddy?
Oh, definitely.
Godspeed. Mazel tov, kids.
Good night, Tom.
Wow, this is really good.
Why, thank you. It's a family recipe.
What's your secret ingredient? A pound of sugar?
I don't think you really want to know.
Oh, come on, tell us.
You gotta blow it a kiss. Sorry.
I forgive you. Mr. Cromwell, thank you for helping us earlier. I was thinking.
You know, Cozy, you frighten me. 1 minute, you're praying to the goddess of the sailors, and the next you're trying to quote the law of the one who made the sailors. The only thing worse than a hard heart is an inconsistent one. You speak of faith and tradition. Yet it appears to me that no one has ever taught you to think for yourself. You gotta use common sense. You can't believe everyone and everything. You gotta make up your own mind. And you, who do you think you are? Your father? He's dead. You'll end up dead too if you're anything the fool that he was. Both of you, dead.
Listen, if you don't like the tea,
The tea, the tea, it's not about the tea. It's this boat. Better yet, it's this crew. You think we're friends? You don't know me. None of you do. I've cheated. I've lied. I've taken what wasn't mine. I was a pirate. Yet for the past few weeks, I've pretended, possibly even tried to appear like a good person for your sakes. I've worked hard, done my part, played fair. Yet I feel more condemned amongst you lot than I ever did aboard the locker.
Cromwell.
Don't you start.
Mr. Cromwell.
I don't want a child's grace.
Ugh, I can't do it! It's impossible!
May, 14 minutes to 1400 hours. I am sitting in the exploration pod. The fraud, of course, is running navigations from the non-FICTA. There is an island, a beautiful, exotic island, no larger than the Central Park of New York City. A comfortable size. Big enough to be mysterious, but small enough to become familiar. We were all eager for a chance to stand on land, but it soon became clear to us that the coordinates on the map were leading us directly to its shores. So the captain assigned me to take the pod and search out the exact location amongst the deep reef. This will be my first solo mission, and I am eager to—
Kurt! What do you see? I'm dying of suspense here. Observe out loud?
Sorry, I was just bringing my journal up to date.
Oh, did you draw that albatross we saw yesterday?
No.
Oh, well, why not?
I don't know, I just haven't drawn a bird since I was a kid. Hey, Cozy said that an albatross represented good luck. Is there any truth to that?
Well, any seabird has value to a sailor. Concerning wind conditions, their God-given instinct can act as a pathfinder for a helmsman, especially in foul conditions. The albatross is especially powerful in maintaining its course. I've known some to follow me for weeks. You get attached, give them a name. Can't help but feel lost when they're gone.
Tom?
What?
Holy tungsten. Tom, we gotta get out of here!
You think they found anything yet?
Like I said, Mr. Stokes will inform us of any discoveries.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
Cozy, calm down. It hasn't even been 30 minutes since the doc left.
Let's play a game to pass the time.
Cozy, if you need something to do, go wash some dishes.
They're not washed, Mr. Cromwell.
Well,
Do you want me to tell him?
No, I'll tell him.
It's really too bad. I was really looking forward to that bowling league.
You're back!
And much sooner than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, us too.
Well, gentlemen, suspense is an art, but not a tasteful choice for the moment.
Did you bring back the treasure?
What do you think? They haven't been gone but a half an hour and their pockets aren't overflowing with gold and riches.
Okay, well, did you find the treasure?
There's no treasure.
No treasure?
I'm sorry.
Settled on the south side of the island, hidden and scattered for miles, are some of 36 sunken ships, all varying in size and function. Though ruined, their remains are well preserved, fossilized, trapped by obsidian.
Obsidian.
Volcanic glass, formed by the rapid cooling of molten lava.
Lava?
A volcano?
An underwater volcano.
And an active underwater volcano. That's where the map leads to. The light of the ocean, or better, the fire of the ocean.
Yeah, it was our own fault. The troubling ambiguity of the map was our own fault because we read it in limits of what we wanted it to be.
A map passed down through the generations, assumed to lead to some great treasure, when its real purpose was to warn us of danger.
Oh.
What?
Maybe the siren wasn't a siren after all. Maybe she was trying to protect us by leading us to deeper, colder waters. Maybe she wrote the map.
We couldn't be sure. The map must have been discovered back when sailors would set anchor at the island for food and water supplies. But the very effort to prevent more damage instead magnified it. Ironic.
The inherent greed of man is once again his downfall.
We didn't come for greed. Came for curiosity, to gain knowledge.
It's all the same thing, isn't it?
Hunt it for the whole world. That's what adventurers do, remember? At least that's what my father did.
I'm sorry, Captain. It's all so clear now. The sense of urgency, the format, the clock.
The clock? Dr. Silvester, could the mark between 1400 and 1500 hours indicate the time of an eruption? A daily eruption?
Kind of like the old faithful of the sea.
Oh gosh. It certainly has the power of one. I can't think of an alternative theory.
Tom, get us out of here. Captain, he could take us in any direction he likes, but I fear it'd be too late. Look at the clock. Our timing was perfect. If it is a volcano, it could erupt at any moment now.
But, well, at least we'll be right on top of it. The force of the magma might not crush her whole, but I doubt we'll be able to survive the heat. Or we'll be caught by fresh obsidian, or something could break, something that could prevent us from getting home, and that could be anything, big or small.
Try to stay calm. It won't have us losing our heads.
Yeah, that's not the kind of death we're worried about right now.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, the time it'll take the non-FICTA to submerge and distance herself from the island is too long. She's just too heavy.
Don't worry about it, Cozy.
Even if it wasn't about to erupt, there are other ways volcanoes can sink ships. They can produce pocket bubbles under the surface that reduce the water's density. It's been known to happen before.
But you're quite sure it's going to erupt.
Yes.
What are the chances we get away in time?
I've seen the wreckage of other ships. They're scattered at least a mile's distance each.
We're gonna die in the ocean with my father. I tried to find meaning to it all. The Jubilee, the map, my father, forgiveness. And I did. At least, I think I did. But I never got to tell anyone.
You did. You shared it with me. And Bronwyn, and Cozy, and Dr. Silvester, and Tom, and Mr. Cromwell. We never would have known. But you showed us. You are a captain long before you won that card game. Your father would be proud.
What Mars means is we're all proud of you.
I never gotta go home.
You're home now.
Captain, someone just disconnected the exploration pod from the non-FICTA.
What? Who?
I don't know. Hold on. The ballast tanks haven't been accommodated for the shift in weight and balance.
Where's Cromwell?
Can you bring the pod back?
No, all the controls have been routed to be controlled solely from the inside. I've got nothing.
See if there's any connection through the aquatic line.
Cozy, go adjust the tanks and straighten us up.
Mr. Cromwell, are we getting through to you? Mr. Cromwell, can you hear this? Come on, Cromwell, answer.
Go ahead and say it, Mars. You think he's abandoning us.
On the contrary, I think he's doing something far worse.
Hey, Fraud. Know the late night watch song?
What? Late night watch song. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, it's one of my favorites.
Mr. Cromwell, how are you able to pilot the pod?
Oh, I've been studying that section of the manual for weeks now. Ever since I lost that game of flags, I've been planning my escape with a pocket full of treasure before we made port.
You know I wouldn't have let you.
That's right, Bronwyn. That's why this plan is so much better.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm betting the red flag.
What?
The weight of the non-FICTA will be much less without the weight of the escape pod. It'll give you more getaway time. And if that doesn't work, I can act as sort of a cork for the volcano. Genius, ain't it?
Don't be ridiculous, Cromwell. You're not always right. You think you are, but you're not.
You know, Doc, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. It may not be the most scientific or sensible plan, but give me one good reason why this won't be helpful. Yeah, that's what I thought. And you can only disengage the pod from the inside, isn't that right, Fraud?
Yeah, chapter 6 of the manual.
You know, you really were right, Cromwell. The non-FICTA is a terrible boat, and whoever designed it was an idiot.
As shallow as it may be, your faith has always been admirable, Cozy. Well, goodbye, Bronwyn. You can keep my gun.
Yeah, I've always admired it. Confiscating it from you was just an excuse to handle it more.
I know. All right, well, disengaging the pod now.
Mr. Cromwell,
Yes, Cabin Boy.
I forgive you.
Well, I'll be hanged if you haven't beaten me twice. I'm sorry, Captain, for everything. Oh, now I can see the albatross.
The tanks are adjusting, Captain, but the non-FICTA is accelerating at record-breaking speed. I didn't know she could go this fast.
I'm not sure she's designed to. She might just fall apart.
Oh, she'll hold.
Oh, this tub sure could use some seatbelts, though.
I think we might all want to take a seat.
What was the song Mr. Cromwell mentioned?
The late night watch song. It's a classic. It's a lullaby. One the watchman could sing while without waking up the rest of the crew. A travel-worn sailor reflects on his condition. Well meant, but condemned, seeking hope in the morning light.
Are there many versions of it, like the rating song?
Just one. Like I said, everyone knows it. It's a classic.
I've been ordered to serve the late night shift for my wayward, unruly soul. I respect both my captain and my ship, but this voyage is taking its toll. The black waves crest headed south-southwest, my inclining to sleep I'll arrest. And if I make it through the late night shift, come dawn I'll be welcomed rest.
Mr. Cromwell, crusty, cantankerous, non-FICTA skyman, the locker's bosun's mate, pirate, man. In the end, it didn't matter. He gave his life, and I'll be hanged if it didn't save us all. With his help and yours, many more lives will be saved once we take the map back to the mainland. So here I am, once again about to give a speech.
Today is the 7th of May. We are going home. Once again, we'll be on land, bringing things with us we didn't have before. And once we get off this tub, we won't be what we were. A captain, an executive officer, a security officer, an engineer, a pilot, a marine biologist, or even a crew. You'll be whatever you want to be. And whatever that may be, I want to challenge you. Be your finest. Try your hardest. Wherever you go, whatever you do, every minute, be an adventurer. Then share it with the rest of the world. Do we have a deal? Well, on y va.
Not quite sure what side I was supposed to exit.
Cozy's making soup for dinner. Can you believe it? Soup. With real broth. She's a wizard in the kitchen.
I think I failed everyone, Tom. I wasn't supposed to be here, but I wanted to, so badly. I asked, I begged, I even financed the voyage, and I thought I could figure out that map. We wouldn't be here if I hadn't come. None of this would have happened.
Don't give yourself so much credit. Didn't you hear the captain? This wouldn't have happened without a single one of us.
Would that have been better?
I don't really care. It would be a waste of time to try to imagine what might have happened. A wild goose chase. Besides, you did translate the map and you wrote it all down. Now just share it with the world and keep looking on.
I see an albatross.
So do I.
What, because I said it out loud?
No, I saw it before you said anything. There.
Look.
An albatross.
Hey, that's good luck.
Isn't she beautiful?
You should draw her, Dr. Silvester.
You know, I think I will.